How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the G.B.B. Jay once again. And I'm joined by Shan's on the line. Shan's, what up?
What's up, man?
Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. A 0-0 draw at home. And out of 9 games played at home so far this season, this is our 6th draw or non-win, all to happen at home. The theatre of dreams has really lost its shine. And this Jose Mourinho team really is not living up to the billing. Shans, do you think it was more Crystal Palace or more Manchester United, which were the negative vibe in this game? They pretty much ended it as a 0-0.
I think both teams didn't play well, really. It wasn't the best match. There were only two scoring opportunities in the game, really. And both times it should have been put away. Lukaku should have headed that goal in, and Townsend probably should have punished us after doing the hard work. It's not so much a question of Mourinho, I think, anymore. I think real questions need to be asked of Lukaku, because we having a striker that we're paying so much and him not scoring is really damaging us. When our defense keeps a clean sheet, you've got to rely on the front end to produce goals to get wins, and that's just not happening. On the whole, our team didn't play well that game. I mean, it was a lackluster performance from us, and if we continue in the same vein with Lukaku not scoring, it's just going to get worse and worse. Either put Rashford up front and let him loose and let him get the goals, or just we can't rely on Lukaku for goals. Sanchez isn't much by the way of goal scoring either. So the players that we do have this season that have scored goals should be guaranteed starts in most games.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Your evaluation there, it does sort of change my perception of how I believed the game pretty much went out. I understand what you're saying in the fact that both teams weren't great, but United is expected to be better than what we were. Crystal Palace, with the current form that they've been in, they haven't been in great form either. But for them to still come and get a draw at Old Trafford, for them it must feel more positive. For us, it's obviously this dire, drab football. And you hit the nail on the head. Why does it feel like Manchester United players go out and it's just a lackluster performance? They're not giving 100%. I don't think anyone on the pitch gave 100%. Because there seems to be some dragging of the feet or some, cloud that's over the players that makes them not want to turn up and do their best. They turn up, yes, they're there physically in presence, but the ability is not there, the skill is not there. I mean, Shannon, you and I looked at a couple of the other games that were played over the weekend, and the bigger teams at the top of the league, with the reputation that Manchester United has, are putting teams to the sword 4-0, 3-1, destroying teams. They're going up against teams and they're scoring goals for fun. And when you see the type of football that they're playing, and yes, I'm talking about Liverpool, yes, I'm talking about Tottenham, yes, most weeks I've been talking about Chelsea, because they just go out and they're another level compared to what we're doing. And yet their teams that have spent similar money to us, they've got the rich history. None of them can compare to the rich history that we have, but definitely considerably more than the likes of Crystal Palace. So we're the ones that should be performing way higher than we actually are. We do have the players with the potential to be at those clubs and doing better than what they're doing at the moment. But that's why I think that how can it be, 15 or 18 players, whatever we have in and around the squad, how can it be that every single one of these players is not playing to their full potential? The only one that controls that and gives them the instruction of how to set up and a way to play is Jose. He can't take the blame for the results on the field, but he can be blamed for the tactics, for the way that we're preparing for the games, and for the team that we're actually putting out on the field. Yes, we've got injuries and things like that, but when we win, he's going to take 50% of the credit for the setup and the planning and the way that it was executed. The players have got to take 50% for the way that they obviously went out and executed whatever plan it was that he had in mind. But also when we're losing, and some of the decisions to hook Paul Pogba, and I understand it's going to be said that yes, he had an injury, but you're playing Matic, who had surgery, and the week after his surgery, he was in the starting lineup, and he hasn't been out of it since then. So you can't say that him hooking Pogba and Lingard, the creative players and the ones that are going to be more direct, you can't say that that's beneficial, especially in a game being so drab. You need players that have that spark, that have the pace, that have the ability to be game changers, to stay involved in the game, and if not, bring on more of that type of ability. Yes, we kept a clean sheet, but it wasn't because we were stellar in defense. It was because Crystal Palace were lackluster in attack as much as we were lackluster in attack ourselves. So why not bring on someone that adds to our attacking ability if we know that the defensive portion of it is pretty much solid for most of the game? Fred would have been the one that I would have said should have come into the game to make an impact earlier in the game, because he's that type of player that pushes the play, drags the ball up, makes something happen. I honestly think that our worst player on the pitch was Matic, because he did nothing, and when he lost the ball in midfield or the ball went past him, he jogged to get back. He didn't run, he didn't sprint. It was lackluster top to bottom. Only De Gea, obviously doing what De Gea does, what was a standout player for me. But no one else gave us any sort of resemblance of fight, bite, intent, directness, any sort of Manchester United quality. Shans, what else can this come down to, or what can change?
I think you touched on it there. Therein lies the issue. I understand what you're saying from Mourinho's tactics, but I think if you employed the exact same tactics that Mourinho did, say, at Tottenham, it wouldn't have changed their result, because when Harry Kane is in a position, and even far out of position, he has a shot and he scores. That's the difference between him and Lukaku. Lukaku won't take that shot. It's not to say Mourinho stopping him from taking that shot. You're on the field, instinct should kick in, you take that shot. The same for Son. There's no reason that Martial can't have cut up players and then taken a shot off the way Son did. So, yes, Mourinho's tactics...
But Martial is the player that does that. Martial does make those runs and he does take his shot. I agree with you.
It's the difference of doing it on the day. Even I know I'm comparing a lot to that Tottenham game, but like you're saying, our players, you wouldn't say any of our players are worse than anyone else in the top four. It's just the difference of, for instance, Son, determination. Have that determination, have that faith, have that belief that it doesn't matter how many defenders are in front of you, you're going to get past them, you're going to get a shot off, you're going to score a goal.
Yeah.
That's lacking.
Yeah, Lukaku, I want to see, and I'll probably do that, I'll have a look at the stats. Compare the amount of shots that Lukaku's taking per game, obviously, to Harry Kane, who we've said it time and time again. Harry Kane will take a shot from wherever when he gets the opportunity. So if he's taking more shots, he's going to score more goals. People don't look at the amounts of shots to goal ratio that he has compared to Lukaku's shots to goal ratio. But again, like you say, that doesn't come down to Mourinho. Mourinho's obviously saying to Lukaku, not saying to Lukaku, don't shoot unless you're guaranteed to get a goal. Lukaku needs to be taking more shots, but the supply to Lukaku needs to be there. And we definitely don't have that. We don't get the ball into Lukaku's feet. Lukaku doesn't get into positions to take the shot, whereas that goal that Harry Kane scored was an absolute pluck from outside of the box, which dribbled over the line pretty much because the keeper was blocked and didn't see the ball coming in, and then saw the ball and didn't even dive. So the comparison there, I understand it. But the difference is Lukaku doesn't get given the opportunity to take the shot. Lukaku doesn't take the shot when he's in position because he wants to make sure that he's scoring because of his lack of goals recently. So he wants to make sure that he puts it in the back of the net. The problem is he is getting headers off, but we got poor crosses in the team as well. So we don't get the supply. We don't give him the opportunities. He doesn't take the shots when he has them. And that's exactly what our problem is. We're not scoring goals. How many times in the past have you seen Manchester United at this point in the season having a negative goal difference? That's a prime example of the fact that we're not giving our forwards the opportunities. And the forwards that are getting the goals is Martial, because he creates the opportunity for himself. He cuts up through 2 or 3 players, or he's in the right place at the right time like a striker should be, and he's finishing off goals. We need to see more from Lukaku, I agree. There needs to be, questions asked of him of why he's not producing, why he's not getting the opportunities as well needs to be asked. And we need quality crosses because Lukaku is aerially very strong. I mean, every second game we see Smalling in the box getting a header opportunity. So why isn't Lukaku getting into those positions to have those opportunities and to try and take them? If we see more goals from Smalling by the end of the season with headers, with the number of opportunities that Lukaku has had, there's something wrong there. Because there's fundamentally, to me, it feels like football is a game of chess. And Mourinho is playing checkers on a chessboard. Because he's putting pieces that shouldn't be in those positions, and he's playing them very, very, very basically. Use the ability of the pieces that you have at your disposal correctly, because your plan will come off. That's the only reason I believe that with a different manager, we could be in a different position. Mourinho was too stubborn in his ways, too fixed in his the style of play that we have. He's not evolving with the way that the Premier League is. He's not evolving with the way that Manchester United have been until this point. And I think the only thing that you could give him, a bit of slack on is the fact that he didn't get the players that he wanted. But approaching this January transfer window now, if the board don't back him, then don't re-sign him. Let him go. Let him leave the club. Bring in a different manager. If you're not going to give him the players that he wants, because that's all he keeps complaining about and keeps slating the young players, give him who he wants. And when he complains about them, then you have a go with him. But you can't have a go with him when you don't give him the pieces that he wants, but he doesn't use them properly. There's so many layers to what's wrong with Manchester United at the moment. And the frustration from the fans' point of view, and me as a fan, is I see my club being driven into the ground because the manager is all about his own, his own persona, and he tears at the young players, and he tears at the media, and he tears at the club. The club don't back him. He's going at the players. The players, we don't know if the players are playing for him or they're happy or not. There's just so many things that are fundamentally wrong with the club at the moment, and that's why we are producing the results we are producing at the moment. No, director of football, no direction, no idea of what we're doing. Our transfer policies are shocking. We're not getting the players that we need. We're not getting the players that he wants. We're not backing the manager. I don't know. Shans, anything else in closing just before we wrap it up?
More goals. Just more goals. That's all we need to see is more goals.
Yeah. We need to give another striker opportunity. I think Lukaku sitting out, we pretty much had better games without Lukaku than we have had with Lukaku. So, I think Martial and Rashford should be our first choice strikers at the moment. And Lukaku comes on off the bench if we feel like we need to change up the tactics. But for me, Lukaku should be on the bench. Martial and Rashford should be our starting 2 strikers. Guys, obviously we've done our our team predictions and our score predictions. You'll obviously see them popping up at the bottom of the screen. You'll also see that I nipped Shannon back by 1 point on this one, so I'll stay ahead for a little while. Obviously, there's a lot more games to go, so we'll see how that goes. Guys, I want to thank you for joining us. Please comment, subscribe, like, share, and follow. Check us out on all our social media platforms. Shans, thanks for joining me on this one. Guys, we'll be doing a preview for the Champions League game midweek up against Young Boys. So please stick around and check that one out. Guys, thanks for joining us, and shot.